Well, how's everybody doing today? Back here on the Bronco again. Last week, we took that motor, front end of the motor off, got the old water pump off, and thermostat housing. Found we had one of the vacuum, well, I guess it'd be a vacuum switch. It's got 3 ports, screws into the top of that housing. One of the nipples was broke, so had to order one of them over, course of the last week. Got that ordered now. So we got everything, I believe, to put the front of this motor back together today. So that's probably number one on the agenda, will be to put that water pump on, thermostat housing. I took and dropped the alternator off at the local alternator shop. Well, Bubba did, I didn't. He took it over and dropped it off earlier this week. They went in, put some new diodes in it, and just kind of freshened it up because the truck's been sitting for a couple of years. And that alternator was not easy to get off. We're going to look at that, see what we can do about that going forward. Of course, it had that air pump and that smog system sitting right on top of it. We deleted that last time and put the caps back on the back of the heads and got the tube out of the, well, it was rusted out of the muffler pipe already, so going forward we've got to get a new exhaust, which I have planned to do anyway, and we'll just have new pipe run from the manifold back and put a nice set of flow masters or something like that. I'm not real sure yet what we'll put on there, but we'll put a nice set of mufflers on it anyway, and that'll take care of that. Going forward today, though, on the agenda, you'll try to get that water pump on, thermostat and all that back together, fan back on it, and get the front of the engine back together and get that part of this done so we can move on to taking the carburetor off. I'd like to say that I'll get the carburetor, get the front of the engine on today and get the carburetor off, but we'll see how it goes. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to turn the camera around here so you can see off in here. I mean, the engine is kindly dirty. Ford loves their vacuum lines. As you can see, there's a big gobbledygook up in here around the carburetor. Here's the coil. Just got the coil laying off to the side. We'll clean some of this up. I really want to, get in here, clean everything up real good, and maybe even do a little painting on the engine, maybe. The goal for this is just to make it really clean and make it, easier. In my opinion, if something's clean, if the engine bay is clean and free of debris and a lot of oils, it just makes it easier to work on going forward when you do have to do maintenance or something breaks. It makes it easier when it's, it's clean. A lot of room up under here, though, I'll say that. Plenty of room to work on stuff. I'm going to clean a lot of this rust up and do some painting. Try to do really want to do something with this gobbledygook of vacuum lines here and straighten up these plug wires and probably get a new cap. I'm gonna take that cap off and inspect it when we get to that point, but one thing at a time. So today it'll be all about putting this front of this engine back on. We had last week we pulled that water pump coming with the truck. It was in a box. We took it out, and to my surprise, moisture had got to it while it was sitting in the truck, I guess. And it was kindly rusty, and I said, I'm gonna paint that. So I did paint that this week. We cleaned all that rust up, and boy, it turned out really nice. So I would, there's the new thermostat housing. I just went ahead and bought a new thermostat housing. I mean, it was like $17. And for 17 bucks, I mean, cleaning this one up, yeah, it could be cleaned up and reused, but I mean, it's $17. Here's that vacuum port, and you can see right here that one top nipple is broke off. Went ahead and picked up one of those. Painted the front housing brackets for the alternator and all that stuff. Got all that painted up. And, you know, it turned out really good. I didn't spend a lot of time with this. I just kind of roughed them up with a wire wheel on my drill. And cleaned them really good and just sprayed them real quick. I didn't spend a lot of time. Here's a spacer, you know, I run it through the bench wire wheel and cleaned it. I'm going to do a little cleaning on this alternator because, you know, with all this fresh paint here, here, and over there, I don't really want to put that looking that way on there. But today will be just putting the front end of the engine back together and, you know, just cleaning up, tidying up. And since I got to pull that carburetor to clean it, that'd be a good time to get into some of those vacuum lines and, you know, try to straighten some of that up. When I take the truck out somewhere after it's done, whether it be a car show or cruising or something like that, I want to be able to raise the hood, you know, and it be clean. It don't have to be a full-blown drag car, but I do want it to be clean, you know, and look nice, presentable. Like I did take a little time, you know, put a little effort into actually doing something under here. I mean, yeah, I could put it back together the way it is and run it and just not ever open the hood, but we're already there, so I'm the type of person, I'm kind of funny about that. I want to, you know, make it look nice since I'm putting effort into it anyway. So, hey, let's go ahead and get on some of this stuff, get started with this, and we'll see how far we get on it today. We got to get back onto this wagon, so, you know, I need to be moving on. The wagon's down to metal now, so it's ready to start the actual body work. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but anyway, all right, let's get on this. Come along with me. Hopefully you enjoy what you see here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, helps us. Thanks. And let's see how far we get. All right, working on cleaning up this motor. I did go ahead and clean the gasket material off of the front of the block. It cut the light out. Let's just kind of show you what's going on right here. Give you a good idea of what I'm doing. As you can see, I've sprayed a little paint on the front of the block. Kind of cleaned that up. And I got all the gasket material off here and got that starting to look good. I'm not spending a lot of time with this. It's quite rusty, and you can't see a lot of that front anyway once all the belts go on, but I still want it clean. I got it clean. I'll show you a little bit of what I'm using here, just basic stuff. Wire brush with a wire topper. It's a little small part here, gets into these crevices real good. And a Dremel tool. I've got a bunch of these little old brushes that go on these tools, and they're great for really digging in there and cleaning all that up. This might turn into more of an engine detailing video than anything. I do want to get all this real nice looking good, you know, top shelf before I stick the water pump stuff on back in the way when I can't get to it. I didn't have to paint this black on the front of the block. I just, you know, cleaned it and said, well, I'm going to put something on there because it's rusty. It'll make it look a little better anyway. Now, obviously, if I was pulling the engine out, you know, it'd get a full paint job and all that. Something else that I'm doing too that I think is important that a lot of people might not do, I don't know, but I do it every time. When I take these parts off and get the old bolts out, I always clean these bolts up. I run them through a wire wheel on my bench grinder, or, you know, you can take just one of these wire brushes here and spend a little time and clean the threads up, check the threads, make sure there's no burrs and no flat spots. You want all this to go back on. You sure don't want to take a chance at stripping anything. So that's just what I do. You can let me know what you do in the comments. Some people may not do nothing. They may just, you know, pull them out and put them back in. It's like, you know, I always like to clean them. That's the way I was taught to do it. So we're going to continue with the cleaning on this, and I'll show you periodically what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and stuff like that. But it's just basic cleanup. While you got it tore down this far, you might as well go ahead and clean a few things up, make it look real good. We're gonna start relocating a bunch of this crap too. I don't know how much of that I can delete. I've not ever had a Bronco. You know, Bubba's got a 90. He's got a 95 F-150, a 73 F-250, and he's got that Thunderbird. And one thing I've learned with his Ford loves vacuum. I mean, they love vacuum. Now, for me, I don't like it. You got to really pay a lot of attention to, try to get you standing up here where you can see me. You really got to pay a lot of attention to those vacuum lines when you're unplugging them and moving them. Because if you leave one unplugged or you miss one, the engine's not going to run right in most cases. So really, that's a time-consuming thing when you start relocating those and trying to move them or delete them. So I'm going to take my time with that, and we're just going to keep pressing forward. I mean, it's raining outside today. I got nothing better to do. This is a great time to be doing work like this when you can't do really anything else outside. So that's going to be our day today, and we're going to try to, you know, like I said, still going to try to get that water pump on and get that carburetor off this afternoon, but I really want to focus on getting all that cleaned up while I'm right there at it. I do want this to look like we spent, you know, took our time with it and done it right, and, you know, really cleaned it up when we had the opportunity. Since they're already there anyway, hey, why not? So let's jump back on it and get back to some more of this cleaning and maybe a little touch-up painting, and we'll see where it goes. I'll get right back to you here in just a minute. Alright, we're putting the water pump on now. He's tightening the bolts in on it. We've done a lot of cleaning up in here. And a little bit of painting. We're not done yet, but he's going to run the bolts up snug, and then we're going to take a look at the book and check the tightening pattern and the torque spec on them, and then we'll get them all torqued down. And this part of it will be done anyway. We can move on up there to the thermostat housing. Blue stands out when the rest of it's nasty. But we did paint some other stuff. We're going to paint a whole lot of stuff before this is over, but right there's the fan pulley. I just went ahead and painted it blue. Painted the rest of them black. And then we cleaned up a little bit on this air conditioning pump, and I cleaned up the housing on that old alternator that we had gone through, and painted the front nice fresh black, and the brackets and stuff were painted. Thermostat housing, we painted it blue to match the water pump. So we're getting there. We painted a few of the other pulleys in here too for the power steering pump and air conditioning pulley. Like I said earlier, it's pouring rain, so it's a good day for this. And this is what is this our third Ford water pump now? Well, I know we did the one on your green truck.
We didn't do nothing on the blue truck. It's just been that green.
Oh, okay. We didn't have to do nothing to the 73. It's just a green truck he's got. It's a 95 with a 96 351 in it. But yeah, that right there. Yeah.
That blue looks good, isn't it?
Yeah, it does look good, and it stands out with that black.
Yeah.
When we get all this gobbledygook up here cleaned up, this thing's gonna look pretty good. Not going to put an aftermarket air cleaner on this. I'm going to use the original air cleaner and clean it up. Might do a little paint and dip, but I kind of like, it's got a mill finish top. Says 5.8 liter on it. I'll show it to you. I really want to clean that up, repaint the base of it, get a new air filter. That right there will really make it look pretty good. So yeah, we're moving right along with it, just taking our time. We're not in no hurry here. We're just easing through it and trying to make it look as clean and good as we possibly can without pulling the motor, because I'm not pulling the motor just to paint it. So that's what we're at. So, well, we'll finish putting this water pump on, and we're going to get our torque specs and stuff right out of the manual, and we'll get that tightened down and move on. Let's see what all we can get here. Okay, we've got that pump snug down, and now he's going to torque all the bolts. He's going to go in a cross pattern, and we're going to torque these to 18 foot-pounds. There's the click. I'm going over here. You want to make sure that you torque these on these water pumps, because you don't want to go through all this headache of putting one on and then they start leaking on you, just, you know, for the simple sake of just bumping them tight. I know a lot of people do just bump them tight and let them go, and I've done that in the past, but I don't really want to do this again. And I have a torque wrench in my box, so they're cheap. You can pick them up at Harbor Freight for a little nothing. So I have one in 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4, and you know, it's just worth it. Just do like the book says, go in a cross pattern and torque all of them, and you're good. And then we can move on out of this. All right, we got the front end back on, and the carburetor is now off. Wasn't too bad taking that carburetor off, but I'll show you what the front end here looks like now. I've just got the belts kind of laying on there. I haven't put the fan and stuff back on yet. We'll do that later. But as far as all the pulleys set up, and you can see down here what I did with the alternator now that that air pump's gone. We just made us a new bolt, got a spacer there. It really cleaned up a lot of that. Deleting that air pump, that really did clean up a lot right there. We've still got this mess up here to contend with next time. And that mess right there has got to be cleaned up. We did go ahead and disassemble the carburetor, so let's go down here and look at it. And it's really bad. I'm going to be, in the next couple of days, I'll be running it in a cleaner, but you can see just really nasty, gummy stink. I mean, look at that. It just, yeah. We have a complete kit that came with the truck, so it's got everything we need. And what we'll do is, I'll just start running this stuff in this cleaner over here. Yeah, tool tip for the day. If you clean carburetors or small parts like that, Amazon. Bubba got me this one. Did you get me that for my birthday or?
Yeah, something like that.
Birthday or Father's Day, either one. So, really nice. I highly recommend that, you know, if you're going to be doing work like this.
Carbureted work.
Yeah, carburetor work, or just, you know, basic cleaning small parts and stuff like that. That's the way to go right there.
Fuel injectors, it works great.
Yeah, it works great on fuel injectors. I cleaned the set for a friend of mine, and that really worked good. So next time we'll be putting that carburetor together and hopefully putting it on this rig and getting her started. Just got to do a little bit more work on the front as far as just sticking the fan and the radiator and stuff on. That's no big deal. And then getting the carburetor back together, and this one will be ready to start. And I think we got some brake work we need to do to it, but other than the brake work, yeah, she'll be ready to drive. Get it out of here and drive it back there and give it a bath and start sanding it down for paint. Not too bad, but we're going to get out of here and go enjoy the rest of our afternoon, maybe find something to eat. But hey, please like and subscribe the video if you like the content. You know, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for us. We appreciate it. And y'all have a good afternoon. We'll see y'all next time.